The Northern Rebellion of 1569 was one of the most significant threats to Elizabeth I's rule, driven by deep-seated discontent among the northern nobles. These nobles, many of whom were staunch Catholics, were unhappy for several reasons. Firstly, they resented the increasing influence of Protestantism in a region that had remained largely Catholic, even as the rest of England moved toward Protestantism under Elizabeth's religious settlement. The imposition of Protestant practices and the presence of Protestant clergy in their traditionally Catholic strongholds was seen as an attack on their faith and way of life. In addition to religious grievances, the northern nobles were also discontented with their declining political influence. Under Elizabeth, the power of the old aristocracy was being challenged by the rise of new men, courtiers and officials who were loyal to the Queen and her Protestant policies. The northern nobles felt sidelined as these outsiders gained more influence at court and within the government. This loss of political power was compounded by economic difficulties, as many of the northern nobility were struggling financially and feared the erosion of their traditional privileges and authority. Against this backdrop of discontent, the Northern Rebellion broke out in November 1569, led by Thomas Percy, Earl of Northumberland, and Charles Neville, Earl of Westmoreland. The rebels sought to restore Catholicism and the traditional order by overthrowing Elizabeth and replacing her with Mary, Queen of Scots, who was then imprisoned in England and seen by many Catholics as the legitimate queen. The rebellion quickly gained momentum as the northern nobles rallied their tenants and supporters, raising an army of around 6,000 men. The rebels captured Durham, where they held a Catholic mass in the cathedral, a symbolic act of defiance against Elizabeth's Protestant regime. The rebellion posed a serious threat to Elizabeth's rule, as it highlighted the depth of opposition to her government in the north and the potential for Catholic unrest. There were real fears that the rebellion could inspire other Catholic uprisings across the country or attract foreign intervention from Catholic powers like Spain or France. Elizabeth's government, already wary of the influence of Mary, Queen of Scots, saw the rebellion as a direct challenge to the stability of the realm. However, despite its initial success, the Northern Rebellion ultimately failed. Elizabeth's response was swift and decisive. The government mobilized a large army, forcing the rebels to retreat. Lacking the resources and support to continue their fight, the rebellion quickly disintegrated. Northumberland and Westmoreland fled to Scotland, but the government captured and executed hundreds of rebels in the aftermath. Northumberland himself was eventually captured and executed in 1572, while Westmoreland lived out his days in exile. The Northern Rebellion was a pivotal moment in Elizabeth's reign, underscoring the fragility of her rule in the face of religious and regional dissent. It led to harsher measures against Catholics and reinforced Elizabeth's determination to maintain control over her kingdom. The failure of the rebellion also demonstrated the limits of noble power in the face of a determined monarch and a centralized state, marking a turning point in the decline of the traditional aristocracy's influence in England.